Hello and welcome back to Forgotten but Treasured Games. We are going to look at Stronghold Warlords running on the GPD WIN MAX. No eGPU or anything, we're just going to run from the WIN MAX itself. And it runs pretty well. It has a weird problem where once you have about 4 or 5 computers, it does like to crash pretty hard. That may just be due to game optimization. It did pretty much just come out this week. Hopefully that can get better. But yeah, for right now, I'll kind of show you what we're working with. Now we'll just go to a custom skirmish. We'll go to Lord's Peak. I'll just go to Lord's Peak. These, like I said, the max we can really do is about 3 computers just to kind of show everything off. Alright, so we will add random computer. What is it? Okay, yeah, the con, and, yeah, alright, why not? Very low. Yeah, we'll just do very low, and then we'll go ahead and, adjust the difficulty to hard. Go ahead and see if we can get the computers to go ahead and raffle stomp us pretty quickly. Okay, advanced options. So let me go ahead and go back real quick, that way I can show you guys the options. So 800p, full screen on, reduce screen off, custom graphics. So you can play with everything on low, pretty much. So we'll go ahead and turn the shadow quality back on low. So low, and dynamic lights are on, so it'll look a little better. The dynamic lights definitely make a difference, and they don't hit the GPU too hard. Hold on, let me get the metrics up. And there we go, we are back. But yeah, it runs fairly well, capped at 30 frames a second. It'll run fairly well. So random computers again. No, we don't want to. The same AI. Give me another one. Yeah, sure, why not? Do very big, do hard. There we go. If we can get it to click, and low, and start. And this is just kind of show off the game, but it'll play fine the whole way through. Occasionally, when looking at some of the AI castles, depending on how aggressively they build and such, it will dip a little bit, but it's usually never too bad. But yeah, just go ahead and start playing around real quick. And in case if you never heard of Stronghold Warlords, it is an absolutely amazing little game, and if you do have the time or the spare cash, they do have some older ones as well, and they're fairly well. The only impressive thing about this one for their series is that you can, hold on, I have to tab out real quick, I think. Is it MSI? It's not actually wanting me to click on. That's strange. Go ahead and keep playing around, we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's definitely a unique little game. Playing it with friends is definitely extremely fun. You can have a decent bit of fun playing it by yourself as well. Against the AI is they're pretty decent. They try-ish. Yeah, you want to get a good bit of wood going on in the very beginning. Gotta get an extra rice field as well. Why not? You know, make sure our peasants have plenty of food. There we go. Yeah, usually you might want to go ahead and take it down to 720p. Go into here, and I usually leave shadows off, and it makes an absolute tremendous difference. Especially on that GPU. See right now in the very beginning, we're not even hitting 80 yet, and that's going to be needed, especially when we're ordering around like hundreds of men. There are a few other things you could turn off, like dynamic lights and such. You could take the resolution even lower. Actually, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and take it to the lowest. Take it to the lowest we can get it. What is the absolute lowest? The absolute lowest is 1280 by 600. Ooh, okay. It's widescreen mode now. But, you know, I mean, we're still hitting 80% GPU usage. That's why I'm honestly thinking that they just have to, you know, kind of work on the game a little bit more. Even if we turn this off, you know, it's still not quite enough to really get any, and that's a shame, you know. It should work very well. But we'll go ahead and bump this back up for the sake of the video. Don't want to stare at this. But yeah, it works just fine, you know, as you can see, it works. But I would just leave dynamic lights and shadows on low. It works. 720p plays fine, as you can kind of see. Like I said, those lights are fine, shadows are fine-ish. And it just depends on what you're fine with playing at. Like, I'm fine with these settings, but if you do want something smooth and more consistent, then yeah, these settings right here, dynamic lights off and shadows off, may be more for you. And let's see if we can just do it with dynamic lights, because that's how I usually play. Yeah, that's not that bad if you did want the dynamic lights. That way you actually have some beautiful lighting, but no shadows. You know, it's a weird take on it, I guess. I was about to say, yeah, we'll wait for a little bit more wood. Yeah, we'll just play this for a little bit, just to show off the performance, but shouldn't have to play it for too long. I mean, this is more or less what you're going to expect until you get into, you know, those later stages where they start sending around massive armies and everything, and then, yeah, I mean, then, yeah, it does get a little hectic. But, yeah, I mean, in the beginning, definitely, I mean, actually, yeah, turn shadows off. You can keep it at 800p, a little bit bigger screen, you know. They are already building up, already making barracks and stuff. You don't have to completely rush because, you know, it's more of a castle sim kind of, you know. Rushing is, you can rush, you can, like, don't get me wrong, you can rush. Now, whether or not you want to rush, I think, then becomes the actual question. Ideally, you want to have more woodcutters in this. 6 is pretty good for beginning stages, to be honest. 6 is fine. I usually set them up like this because they can all still access it and use a lot less room. And then I put like my workshops on the other side and lining down here in my farms. Usually I put them in the very back, but I'm doing it differently because I don't know why, to be honest. Because I feel like losing today. I don't know. And yeah, you gotta get a water buffalo tether. That's the really cool thing, is that you have to get weird little things, you know, to make your economy work. Like, you know, there's a buffalo. You just have to have him to, you know, make the economy work, you know, and, you know, carry stone back and forth. It's interesting, you know, it's very interesting. Unlike Age of Empires, where they just kind of gather it and just, like, you know, spit it into the stockpile. Well, not even spit it, you know, like Age of Empires 2, at least they, you know, take it back to the wood camp or whatever, you know, but, you know, they don't actually put it anywhere of these, and then, you see they're taking the wood to the stockpile, and then, like, in case if you don't know this game, go ahead and make a axe workshop. So then the axe maker will come along and he'll grab a piece of wood and he'll take it back to his workshop. He'll craft it into an axe, and he'll take the axe back to the armory right here, and he'll store it in the armory. And that's the cool part. But yeah, this video's been going on for a while. And that's about all to see, to be honest. I mean, there's not much else really for me to show you. Combat happens, and like I said, it sits at about 30 frames a second. You can turn, you know, a few things off and lower the settings a little bit to try and keep that 30 frames, but you're gonna drop, to be honest. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and see you in the next video.